Well, hi there. It is just gone 11:30 and time to show up. I'm showing up. I'm glad you showed up. I appreciate every single one of you. That was weird. Okay, so do a little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit, and let's shit in the box. I have been doing a fair bit of sculpting over the past couple of days. I'm trying to get back on the horse, or get back on the board. Excuse me. I'm trying to recover from the gravel and get back up there and like start working on stuff. And unfortunately, I have already, in my quest to accept the ephemeral nature of clay, I have already pulled the work that I did off of the top of the container. But I do have pictures. I do have pictures, and I sculpted a nose and a brow ridge. I think I did a fairly good job. And then I added an eye. I put an eye over on the left, which would obviously be the right eye. And then I added the other eye, which looks like butt. So I didn't do a very good job on that, and I worked around that quite a bit. But one of the things that I'm doing in addition to working on all of this, and here's kind of a detail of that second eye. First of all, I'm trying to get a general procedure down for actually sculpting things. And again, I feel like this is easier for me than it would be for somebody else. I don't know why. I feel like that kind of sucks. I've had a couple of people on Discord and Blue Sky go, "Oh, fuck you, be doing that after just a couple of weeks. Yeah, fuck you for that." And I get it, dude. I understand it. It's like when a 12-year-old comes up and says, "Hey, could you take a look at my art and tell me if it's any good?" And you're just like, "Dude, just fuck off. You take your perfect work and go to hell. You go to hell and you die." Because it's just like, I mean, you've been doing this for like 10, 15 years, and along comes somebody who goes, "Is this any good?" "Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. Now fuck off. Go away. Leave me alone, you fucking child." And I've had a couple of people on, again, Blue Sky and on Discord, it just kind of tell me, it's just like, oh, fuck you. That's not supposed to be like your first sculpture. Your first sculpture's not supposed to be that good. What do you mean this is the first time you've ever sculpted a nose? Fuck off with that shit. And just like, I'm sorry. I just should I fuck it up more? Just make you feel bad. I don't know. And I still feel like everything's fucked up. Like, I look at this eye and I'm like, everything's wrong on it. And just, you look at the two eyes, they don't match, you know? But yeah, I do kind of get that they don't have a lot of problems that I have seen in other people's art. Okay? I see that my sculpture is missing a lot of things that other people's sculpture would have. A lot of weird, fucked up problems. But mostly I want to talk about processes and procedures. I do the eye basically by duplicating the anatomy. And what I do is I grab a piece of clay, just kind of twist it off. That's it's way more than I need, really. Just kind of grab a piece of clay, and then I'll go out of focus again. I'll grab a bit of it, and I'll make myself kind of a test bed space, which is like just a field that I stick on there. And just go, okay, here's the field where I'm going to put the eye. The eye is going to go in here somewhere. and I sort of get some idea of where that eye is going to go, just by placing that little field and just kind of smashing it down on there. Just a little smear of clay. Nothing big or fancy. Let me scoot this over a little bit so you can at least kind of see that I'm doing something. And then I begin with the eyeball. And what I do for the eyeball is I just kind of go, here's a round ball of clay. This is much smaller than an actual eyeball, obviously. But what I do with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hide the slideshow. But what I do with this is just kind of smash it. And I make it about the right size. Kind of smash down, move around, and just sort of get where it is that I want the eyeball to be. Just to kind of mound on there. And the eyeball is about an inch wide, okay? Which is about the width of an adult man's thumb. So I just kind of put my thumb up there, and that's about the right width right there. And what I do with this is I start with that lacrimal caruncle. I start with a little ball of clay, and it's like little. It's real little. I just kind of squeeze it on one end, and I put that in toward the inside. So I get this little kind of bit right there. And just kind of make a little tail that goes off to the side, like so. And then over top of that, I make a bottom eyelid. And what's important on the bottom eyelid, I think of this like blousing a cap, military, okay? You want to get edges of that eyelid nice and square, like so. If you look at that, you can see that, well, I hope you can see, that the edges, that there's a severe plane change, that's very sharp. And you get that by just kind of pinching the corners and making sure the corners are nice and sharp. And then what I want to do is I want to take the inner side of this and I put it right at the tail of that lacrimal caruncle. And I want this to go almost straight across. Not quite straight across. Almost. And I just kind of put that in place around my eyeball. And smoosh it down at the end. So what I've got here is I've got a little lower eyelid. And then you've got the little lacrimal caruncle there. And then we're going to do the same for the upper eyelid. And again, you start off, just kind of shape it. And get it kind of rounded off at the top. Just have a good solid piece there. Now look at that. And again, here you want to get that edge nice and sharp. And get a nice sharp edge on that, and a nice sharp edge on that. And then from here, and I'm not happy with this process. I feel like this process can be improved, but this is the process I'm using, so I'm talking about it. This is what I do. And this goes all the way down and over top of the bottom eyelid. And then it comes up and around and it's going to come up slower than it comes down. It's going to come down kind of sharper at the outside than it went up on the inside. Okay? So we've got the bottom eyelid, and then we've got the top eyelid on top of that. Okay? And then from this point, this is the hard part. This is the part that I have trouble with. From this point, I want to give the eye form. I want to give that top curve of the eyelid the proper form and make it look the way that I want it to look. Just kind of clean that up. I do not have a good answer to how to put the central part of the eyelid, the eye on. How to do the iris and the pupil and all of that. I don't have a good answer for that yet. I just kind of form that up and give it the look and shape that I'm looking for. And I end up with something like this. And that's just following after the anatomy. That's all it is. It's just every piece of the anatomy is accounted for in there. You can see that I've got the lacrimal carbuncle in there. And you can see that I've got the upper and lower eyelids in there. And I don't really have the iris and pupil. I guess that's too big. That's too small. That was just right. Goldilocks tool selection. Kind of, I guess. The iris in there, and then, of course, you need the pupil. And put the pupil in. Kind of like that. I don't know. I don't have a good solution to that. I don't have a good solution to putting the iris and the pupil in. But this is where I'm sitting with this. This is where I'm sitting. It's kind of what I'm working with. It's what I'm trying to do at the moment. Is just to do this kind of stuff, and also to get past that precious thinking where I'm like, yeah, this is really cool. I did a really cool thing. I really need to get past the idea of I did a thing, I have to save it forever. I need to be willing to grab the clay back up and mash it back up and do something else later. But that's kind of the stuff that I've been working on. That's the sort of thing that I've been doing. And I'm working on eyes, and I'm trying to work myself up to doing mouths, and I've done a couple of noses, and I feel like I'm getting a good handle on it. I feel like I'm getting a good handle on the individual features of the face, and I feel like I'm getting a fairly good idea of how to do the rest of the anatomy of the face, just like here and there. I still haven't moved all the way up to the forehead and the eye sockets and all of that on here, but I'm working toward it. I'm moving toward it. And I feel like doing any kind of sculpting content is not working out that well because you just have the one camera. I have ordered a second camera, which it's just a basic webcam. It's going to sit up here on top of the tablet. And then I'm going to move this one. I'm going to move it to a tripod over on the side. Got a proper tripod and shit. Gonna scooch it over there. put it into that space off to the side, and I should then be able to prop this up like so, and point the camera over at it and get some kind of content where you can see that I'm doing some sculpting. But for the moment, I just got the one camera. The new camera will be here tomorrow, so I'll be prepared to try out some 2-camera shit on Friday. But I am trying to get back into doing stuff and away from just playing Starfield all day, every day, and that's important because fairly soon I'm going to have to do a buttload of yard work. Because when spring gets here, it's going to be vicious. You like working with clay. I like plasticine. Plasticine feels good. Feels natural. Yeah. My dad used to sculpt. He was not very good at it. He tried, but he didn't put a whole lot of effort into it. And we didn't have the quality of stuff that we have today. I have also, in addition to the new camera that is on order, I went ahead and I got a 17-inch anatomically correct skeleton model. So I'm going to try my hand at the écorché, which my anatomy instructor, Ray Bustos, used to say, you have to get yourself a little skeleton maquette, and you have to build the écorché on it, and that'll really teach you, that'll really get you to understand how everything fits together and how everything works. Okay, I'll try that since I've got the clay anyway. But yeah. Yeah, so that's the stuff I'm going to be working on in the next couple of days. On tomorrow, I'm going to get the camera, and then the day after that, the skeleton model is going to be here so I can work on the écorché, and that's me trying to get back on the board and get past the gravel, which is important. And I just I don't have anything too special or meaningful to talk about today. I just wanted to say I am trying to get back to it. I really am. And I will get back to it eventually. At some point, I'll get back to it. But that's kind of where things are right now. Is I am doing some sculpting, and I am doing any drawing. I did a little painting the other day. I did a little sort of kind of blocking in, trying to identify large blocks of colors and put those into place. And I'm trying to improve my color selection. I'm trying to improve my shape recognition. I'm constantly working on these fundamentals, and I'm not working on any finished pieces. And I need to work on finished pieces. If I don't do finished pieces, nobody cares. Nobody cares what you're going to do. Nobody cares what you're doing. They only care what you've done. You got to do a finished piece. You got to go, here's the thing, it's finished. If you don't finish it, nobody fucking cares. I got like 8,000 things that I never finished, and it's critical to actually finish things and get them done. And I need to do that. I need to finish art pieces, and I need to finish music, and God, I'm trying to put together the the cash to buy Reaper. This is going to be a while. Because there's all this little stuff. And I keep going, well, you know, Reaper doesn't need to be registered now. I can register Reaper later. And I just kind of, I don't know. I know a lot of people would just say, you know, just keep evaluating forever. No. I'm going to register it. I'm going to put that on there. Because I think that's important. And I will eventually get around to paying the $200 and some odd to do the professional license. Because I think that's important. But for the moment, I'm just mostly going to focus on... right now, I'm going to focus on the sculpting and the painting. And at some, I mean, you could see me thinking about, you can see me thinking about game design. You can see me thinking about how games are constructed and how games should be built, and about getting over the hump in games and how progression works. You could see me talking about that and thinking about that and wanting to get back to building the game. And I've taken like a couple months off from building the game. I've taken a couple months off from doing the music. And all that's going to come together again. And I'm going to get back to working on that. Because everything runs in cycles. There are points where you need to take some time. So it took some time. And I'll get back into the sculpting. And I'm going to get back into the painting. And I'm going to see if I don't have some stuff to actually finish this time around. I will get back to the game. I will get back to building the game. It is like a thing that I want to get back to. Right now, I'm just kind of wandering around, figuring out which direction I want to go and how I want to go there. But that's where things are. And do a little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. And okay, bye.